Doing on this wonderful day of a CPI report that's taken the market much higher. We'll go ahead and take a peek at this, and you can see that Globex session was trading for the most part in yesterday's range. CPI report came out and the market just shot up like a missile. And here we are trading as of right now above balance. So we're going to be opening up on a gap for the most part. I mean, unless there's some type of, thing in the next, what time is it? Yeah, in the next 15 minutes that brings the market back to reality. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So today gap rules will be in play. Just remember that as we're getting into the session. And we can pull up the gap rules real quick. So gap rules, and this is from shadowtrader.net. Gap rules. We want to go with any gaps that don't fill right away. Larger gaps often fail to fill on the first day or may only fill partially. And then if the gap fills, meaning the prior day's RTH is touched, the gap fill RTH low touched on a gap down, value cannot get to at least overlapping, then the odds of a late day rally or late day sell-off are increased. Gaps that are larger than $20 in ES are difficult to trade and should be avoided early in the market, as they usually tend to digest the overnight move. So really you're paying attention to rules 2 and 4 here, right? So if you're trading futures today, difficult to trade these big gaps early on. And so a lot of times you want to avoid them, as they can cause a bit of danger for a lot of people. So, just be cautious with this market early on, as it's going to probably be really volatile and can really cut some people up. Or it can just get pretty violent early on. So if you are going to trade it, right, just make sure that you're managing risk, make sure that you're trying to use some levels that we've talked about, or levels that you've decided are good levels to trade off of, and just make sure that you are managing that risk, right? And if you have a trade plan and this thing has moved away from your trade plan, don't be afraid to just step to the side and take a break, right? You don't feel like you need to trade just because the market's moving big. Like I always say, if you can't trade a market that is moving slow, then chances are you're not going to be able to trade a market that's moving fast. And if you do get lucky trading a market that's moving fast, well, that can happen as well. But a lot of times it can really punish people. Go ahead and take a look real quick around the block here. We can see the VIX really got smacked down here, looking, pretty close to 20 for the first time in a while. Dan Buckley made 5Gs in crypto land. Good stuff. Crypto Mojo, good morning. Will Cosby, good morning. So we could see the VIX is actually, selling off pretty big here. Bitcoin got a nice big rally up that 24K here. The dollar got smacked down a little bit, which is good, breaking a fairly long-term trend line. Oil is just kind of balancing. It did pop up a little bit, but still kind of staying down. ES, obviously, huge move up. Gold, another big move up, but is actually coming back to reality. The NASDAQ here is up above. Remember, this is our long-term trend. If we switch this over to the daily chart real quick, we know that this trend line has been acting as a pretty strong resistance lately. We're now right at it. So just something that we want to be paying attention to. The Russell even got a boost, right? Grandpa's favorite stocks jumped up. The Dow is gassing on the high as well, and bonds actually got a big pop, but they came back to life, or back to reality as well here too. So just something to be paying attention to here. Apple, big move up, getting above some trend lines. Even AMD, which has been very weak lately, has come back up. Amazon up pretty big. Google finally, doing its thing. If we would zoom out on Google real quick, right? It's been in this channel, this up channel. It's getting close to that level where a nice breakout can occur, right at the top of this longer term bracket that we've been looking for. And really, I think this is, hey, Red, really, I think this is gonna be the driver. If Google is able to get up above and really start to break out to the upside, we could really get a nice move in the market. I think that could be a big help for a lot of the market, what it needs to get going. So that'll be something that I'm definitely watching. Meta also gassing up, Microsoft breaking up as well, Netflix, Triple Q, same idea, and Tesla gassing up, but not as much as you would think, right? We know 900's been a big level for Tesla, and it really hasn't gone up as much as you would think, or as much as I would think. Cam, good morning. Double R, yo, yo, yo. Styles, good morning. Roach, good morning. Hopefully you are doing well. Let's go ahead and minimize this. We've still got about 9 minutes until the market opens up, so we've got some time here. Any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat. And let's get ready to prepare for this day. The big driver today, I think, is going to be, obviously watching Google, but NASDAQ, when it's at this long-term trend line, is going to be a big thing that we need to pay attention to early on here. So going to be watching that for sure. In case anyone was wondering what the CPI number was, it was 20 or it was 8.5, which was actually a beat on a lot of things. Or it was lower than expected, but still pretty elevated if you ask me. We didn't have a huge move down or anything like that, but just some people, basically stating like, okay, well, it's not as bad as it was last month, right? So when people say the news is already priced into the chart, does that usually mean that the big players inside info already have reacted to the news, basically? I don't know. I'm not a huge believer in that priced into the chart type of stuff. I think that more goes on along the lines of the efficient market theory, and I don't really think that the markets are as efficient as people think. I think if they were efficient, right, there would be like an obvious way to trade this, and there wouldn't be these huge emotional reactions that we saw, right? If it was already priced in, then why would we get such a big reaction to the upside? You know what I mean? So, um, I don't really think that's priced in. I think what happened today was along the lines of you got this lower inflation number, which is bullish, right? People like that the lower inflation, but the big thing was that the core number was like 5.6, was also better than expected. They expected it to go up, right? Because they do a thing where they basically like adjust for gas and food, and that even came down. So that was better than expected, and so I think the number was more of a surprise than anything. I do think people expected the core CPI number to come down, but with gas and food also coming down, that was unexpected, and that's why we got such a big reaction. I mean, this thing, the impulse was from right here, from that 46 level, um, and it really just kind of popped up. And I was actually, not to try to brag or anything, but it was in the trade view. I had kind of talked about this. Oh, damn it. The fuck is this? Um, Does it zoom all the way to the back? It's stupid. Yeah. We got 5 minutes. Okay, so I talked about this 47 level in the trade view about how if the market gets up to that level and starts to show buyers, then I think there can be a larger move to the upside. And that's, if you were on watching, we literally came right up to this point of control, stopped for a second, and then just missiled up. And so, I mean, I was prepared for it, kind of just sitting here waiting for it. So it was just more lucky than anything, I guess, that it went up so high. I didn't catch the whole move at all, not even close, but it was a nice little move. In this case, the move definitely came on the news release. I was in a short before the pump. Ooh, yeah, that's risky business right there, my friend. Oh, you'd taken a small profit and had a stop loss? Oh, thank God. Thank God. Yeah, you want to, that's definitely something where you want to be careful because it can punish people. Morning, Den. Let me pull up some Reveille so we can get ready to get started. All right. The market's starting to move up a little bit here. Watch how we act at this 4,200 here. I gotta share the volume. All right, we are ready. We're motivated. We're pumped up. We're ready to kill the market today. At least I am. Hopefully that you guys are on the same page and also ready to kill the market today. I do have a level marked up above here. This 42.52 is a prior high. It's the next prior high on this way up in this breakout of balance. And we're going to be watching the NASDAQ here on the open and see what they put in early. And remember, this is gap rules. And also just, if you're a newer trader, today is not a day to just be like, I'm going to miss out because the market's moving so much. Just, let the market settle itself out. There's going to be a lot of emotion in the market early on because of this gap, and you don't necessarily want to be caught in any of that, right? You want to just be careful and be safe there. So there's no reason to try to gamble it early on. You'll be plenty of opportunity today for sure, right? I mean, most likely, especially with this huge gap that we're going to be opening up on. Hello, Mark. What's up, man? You just joined? Welcome. Glad to have you. All right, we got 30 seconds. Your trade plans are awesome, by the way. I read them whenever I can. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, of course. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. There's an offer trying to hold the market down here, like right at the 4,200. So, we could see a pushback down. We do have the VPOC has already shifted up to here, so you could see a push down. Watch how that VPOC acts and see if it holds. Remember, we do have the balance high. Oh, actually, balance high is at 88. But so look to see if these buyers are stepping up above the balance high and initiating prices higher here. Watch the NASDAQ. Think this is a fake pump. I mean, it's an emotional pump. I don't know if it's a fake pump. It's based off of the CPI report, so I don't think I would say it's a fake pump. I would just say that there's a lot of emotion based on it. So coming down to the Globex point of control here. Remember, this is a large gap, right? Huge gap. So we want to, and typically gaps are used as excess, and especially gaps are a sign of a other time frame trader entering the market. So if this gap doesn't close early, that'll let you know that this is a a legit buyer coming into the market to try to take the market higher. Back down to that Globex point of control. Remember this gap. I mean, I keep saying it, but this is a big gap. This gap goes all the way down to 38 here. So we're about, close to 70 points of a gap early on. A lot of volume coming in up here. Remember, we're watching this balance high to see if buyers are going to show up above that balance high. Above that balance high would show continuation of buyers willing to step up and initiate at these higher prices. Do people just claim big moves are fake when it goes against their bias? I don't know. I mean, a lot of people will just fight the chart that's in front of them a lot because of their bias, and that's just that's nothing against the person. It's just that they don't have the psychology developed yet. Watching 73 quarter as a potential long spot. 73 quarter, is that a prior high? The big offer is still sitting on that 00 up here. There's a weak spot on the profile, 95 to 93. Offers are still moving down here. Demas, good morning. Did I post the gap rules? Yes, I did. Yeah, and where they're bought after the first impulse. Yeah, that makes sense. So you're still seeing short covering above balance here. So these shorts, people that are short are probably just giving their last chance here to get out of the market. So just be careful here. Back to the point of control, comes back down. Look at the NASDAQ coming back down to that long-term trend here. You can see the breadth is pretty positive, but the sectors are fairly negative so far starting off. A little bit of short covering down there, but selling is still coming in down here at this low. $8.82 to 22 call put ratio. So a lot of selling came in at this low here, but we haven't broken it yet. Remember, this is the balance high. This is an area where we're looking for these buyers to step up and support, right? That would show that they're willing to initiate at these higher prices. Right now, it kind of just looks like a little bit of liquidation here early on. Offers trying to move down on the 89 here. So they're trying to sell right above this level. Right to the 88. Sellers are trying to break down back into balance. They're getting a couple ticks here. There they go. Little offer coming in right here on the 86, but looks like a little bit of short covering here. XLK still coming down. XLK is coming down pretty hard here. Look at the NASDAQ. That's what we're watching, this long-term trend line here. Back above the balance high. Looking for these buyers really to try to, take this thing back above the point of control and look to tick above the open, right? If we do get a strong response, and that's kind of the issue here today that makes trading early on so tough, is that if you like the spot that we're at is a very significant point of resistance technically, right? In technical trading, however you technical analysis, but in our type of trading, this is an area where we can assume that if there is going to be a responsive seller, this is going to be an area where they enter the market, right? We've seen that point of control move down to the low here, and we've got tapering off of the bottom. So a move up above this, I think 93 is going to take us back up to the open and test that big seller that's sitting on the 4,200 here. And 4,200 being a very psychological level, right? A level that we may see a bunch of short-term sellers try to sell. So it may hold early on. There's just no way to know until we get there, right? Didn't get filled right there. That was bullshit. Where can you find the affiliate link for the Apex trading? Should be below the video. But there's no like discount or anything with the affiliate link. So if you can't find it, don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. Big sell order came in right here. What is this? 85 or 86, 75, 169 lots there. Back below the balance low here. So picking up a little bit of steam here on the downside, right? Came back up to that point of control, couldn't hold. We still, if the market's going to come down a little bit more, that they're going to need to get these this volume coming here. But if we take a peek, like if you look at all the sectors here, right? This is all 12 sectors, and then the NASDAQ. XLK is coming down, XLV is coming down, XLY is coming down. Financials are actually doing okay. Consumer discretionary is basically flat. Industrials coming down. Staples is coming down. Energy is actually doing okay. Utilities, materials, and real estate all coming down, and the NASDAQ's breaking down below its level there as well. A little bit of volume coming in right there on that 85. That's where the offer's at, 85. Let's watch this 85 for the market to hold below and keep holding it below this level. Comes back right above it. We can assume that that 85 was probably a bit of short covering there. Mechanical selling off that previous day's low, or previous day's high, excuse me. So selling still coming in right below that balance low. This offer's on the 87 here. Seller's going to want to keep it below this 87 if they want to keep the market back into balance here. What? My blue binder is somewhere. I give it to Curtis. Ask him. Morning, Caesar. You found it, Will? Okay, good. So they hold that 87 for now. Big offer moving down right here, 86 quarter. Ooh, looks like some sellers just got trapped on the 85. Careful here. If they don't get back below 85 and they get back above 88, you might see a bit of a short covering pop. But these sellers need to get back down below 85. There they go. They're trying. Not doing a very good job here. Like some sellers are stuck, guys. Careful for this pop here. Back above the 88. There might be a little bit of a short covering pop here, so just be careful. NASDAQ's trying to come back up, but it's also coming back down at the same time. Getting back down below that level. There's that short covering pop that we were looking for. But our weighted sectors are still holding up above as far as the weighted sectors go. And this is what we were looking for. Above this 94, I think we probably look to go test that open here. So just be careful if you, had a negative bias here, or if you're trying to gamble on the volatility. You don't want to get caught in any type of, big move, which is, definitely not out of the cards today. Gap rules tell us that we should go with any gap that doesn't fill early, and large gaps should be avoided early on. And today is a pretty significantly large gap, if you ask me. So that'd be an area of avoidance for as far as risk goes. So sellers just trying to offer this 94 here still. They're still trying to hold this 94. But They're just not doing a good job. Got some good size offers above. Good chance we head up there at some point today. Yeah, I think. I mean, I think we're going up. I'm being biased. And remember, the Globex high is still up here, so if this market doesn't break the Globex high, that's going to be a fairly significant point of reference. Wow, so inflation is lower than expected. Yes, it was. Nelson, good morning. When you say avoided in as go with the trend, not fill. So when I say avoided, I mean large gaps in the ES should be avoided because of how much volatility they can have early on in the session, and it can really, damage your account as far as trading goes. And so if you are a newer trader, trading these large gaps or high volatility can really be detrimental to your trading account, and that's what I mean. And it's one of the gap rules. Morning, Adam. Um, you know, and if you can find the gap rules on Jim's on shadowtrader.net. If you type in gap rules into Google and Shadow Trader, you'll find it. Here, I'll pull it up for you. Long 85, trailed to 94, looking for 4,200. Good stuff, bro. You got a better fill than me. I'm only long from 87, 75. But I'm looking for 50, 42, 52. But yeah, so larger gaps can often fail to fill the first day, right? And then gaps that are larger than $20 in the ES are difficult to trade and should be avoided early in the day, as market usually tends to just digest the overnight move and not go anywhere. In such a situation, a day time frame player should focus on individual stocks rather than futures, make them more playable movement, right? And so that's what I'm talking about, those gap rules there. Starting to see tech start to pick up here. See if the market's going to take its open out here. Back and touching the open, so mechanical sellers sitting on the open here. A break above that Globex high is probably going to cause us a nice little move to the upside. And remember, retail traders are probably short here, right? Everyone wants to sell something that's gone up. They don't want to trade the chart in front of them. They want to try to call the top because they would like to be right. Whereas we're just, trading the chart that's in front of us here. And the chart that's in front of us is not telling us that the market wants to go down, right? We'd have to see volume back inside balance and underneath of this 88 level and continuation to the downside to let us know that the market wants to go down. And even then, there's still just this huge gap down here that these responsive sellers would have to fill. Weighted sections still kicking up. Look at the breadth here. The breadth is extremely positive. Buyers just stepped up on the 98 there. Here we go. 500 lots sitting on the OO. See if they can just scoop these guys up, and we'll just call this where's our nice video? Uh ugh, little stop run right through that for us. Look at the NASDAQ back above that long-term trend. Right, we've been waiting for the NASDAQ to break out of this for a while here. You're done? Just set it right here. Well, we're going to review our books today, so. Do you think that the New York pausing on this move is waiting for the UK to close? Once the UK closes, New York will have a free reign? No, not necessarily. I think that the market's just digesting this, right? It takes a second for you to decide if you want to buy this, right? Imagine if you're a longer term trader, and you're, yesterday you could have bought your computer monitor for 41.20. And remember, you're not just buying one, you're a longer term trader, you're buying thousands, right? Because you got a supply at your warehouse full of these. But today, you've got to spend another $80 to get these computer monitors, right? And so you've got to really decide, okay, do I really like these prices up here? Do I really want to move up and get rid of this? Or when we look at this at a longer term, and I'll switch to the daily chart so we can just have a little bit easier look at this. Um, if you're a longer term trader, and we can assume here that this is where longer term traders really entered the market right here, because there's a gap and the gap has not filled. Let me make this a little bit bigger here. There we go. So, we can assume that this is where longer term traders entered the market. Here's some more excess, so we can assume they entered the market again. Market moved up, balanced here, so there was just lack of supply. There was no selling down here. So that's where we know there's no selling. If there is going to be a responsive seller, it is going to be up here. But we have to decide, or these longer term traders have to decide, is this spot a good spot to just do business with this longer term seller? This longer term seller is looking to sell up here. Should we just sell our position to him and get out of the market and then wait for the market to come back down to buy our computer monitors down here, 3950, 3800? Or are we liking this market and we want to move up and we want to buy from these longer term sellers because we think that they don't understand the price of the market? A little house right here, and this could be the area to to decide that, right? And so that's why they say don't trade these gaps a lot of times early on, because the market takes time to digest what's actually going on in the market. And think about it, if you're trading the ES right now, you're trading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 10 lots, maybe 20 lots, right? Maybe you're trading bigger size, which in this big scheme of things, 20 lots isn't a lot, right? If I pull up my time in sales here, you can see, and this is just in the past 2 minutes, you've had 11, 11, 20, 25, 20. I mean, this thing's only shows that 10 lot orders are above, and you can see how, quickly these bigger lot trades are coming in. So, if you're trading, 20 lot orders, that's really not much. So you've got you've got to think about it in that sense, that inventory sense. So it does take time for the market to really be like, oh, okay, you know what, I like this area, I'm gonna get in here, I'm gonna buy more. The market is taking time to absorb the opening. Is that partially dealers? Yeah, it's rebalancing. Exactly. It's inventory rebalancing. And that's what is so nice about the market profile, is that it shows us, right? We're not profile traders. We don't trade the profile. We use the profile as a graphical representation in order to decipher where inventory is at. And so when inventory has to rebalance, that's what we're trying to decipher. Okay, is it rebalancing? Which way is it rebalancing? Are they agreeing on this price? Are we just going to get a balanced profile? It's the same idea. And if the computer monitor analogy doesn't really speak to you, you know, pick up Mind Over Markets and read Jim's book. Jim has a ton of, different references that he uses in there, right? He talks about peanut butter. But just think about whatever your favorite thing is, and would you buy it up here when yesterday you could have bought it for $80 cheaper? And $80 to some of us might not seem like a lot, but $80 to some of us is a lot, right? So that's a big difference, especially when you're dealing with, not 10 lot orders. You're dealing with, hundreds or thousands of lots that you have to fill, right? Think about Amazon, right? They've got to fill their warehouse with these computer monitors in order to get them out on time and get this next day shipping, but they also don't want to just have this excess inventory. If you see what happened to Target recently, and we talked about this on stream a couple weeks ago, how Target ordered way too much home and garden stuff, like outdoor stuff, and then they ordered way too much electronics. And I was telling you guys, if you go to Target, there's a lot of opportunity there to get stuff for cheap because they had excess inventory and had to sell some of it for less, right? And that's what a lot of times you get that liquidation sales, the same thing as it is in the market, right? You got to, like, oh shit, I bought too many, I need to get rid of these, and you start getting rid of them as fast as you can until price gets down to a relative level and you see the selling shut off or a bigger buyer step in, because obviously you're not going to keep selling things under value because you want to make as much profit as possible. Imagine if you're selling, even to micro size it, I guess. Imagine if you're selling packets of gum for $1 and they're just flying off the shelves. Everyone's like, oh, Orbit's only $1 a pack, I'll take that. Big sell order, 92.50, 110 lots. And then all of a sudden you raise it to $1.25 and boom, they're still flying off the shelves. Then you raise it to $1.50 and boom, they're still flying off the shelves. But then you raise it to $2 and people are like, nah. And then it just sits on the shelves for a while. Well, typically when you run a business, you've already started to accustom or order for these other trades that are coming in, or these other orders that are coming in. And so you're like, oh shit, I need to get rid of this gum, I need to lower it back down. So you lower it back down to $1.50 and it still just sits on the shelf. You lower it down to $1.25 and then boom, it starts flying off the shelf again. So now you've found your fair price, that $1.25, $1.50 area, to sell these packets of gum in order to keep your current inventory coming in and your inventory not develop an excess or a stockpile to the point where you have to lower your price significantly to get it to sell, or you're just stuck with it and you have to sell it for less than you buy it for, which is, what liquidation is.
I liked his analogy on I think it was like a ski shop, right?
When he was talking about buying a pair of skis.
Yeah, and he was saying about like how you can get them on a discount during the summer,
Right.
and then he was saying they can't sell at prices like that all the time, otherwise they wouldn't have a business.
Right. And that's the thing, is like, if you that analogy is a great analogy, because you've got to think about when you're selling a product that is really only used in the winter time, depending upon your geographical location, right? If you're in Canada, it's just fucking winter all year. But if you're a longer term skier, right? If you're not just going to ski for one season, that's when you want to buy your stuff, is in the summer, because that's when it's going to be the cheapest. But if you're only buying it for, a small amount of time, then it's not really going to matter when you buy it, because you're only going to use it once and it's not really going to change anything. But if you're going to be skiing for, a long time, or if you're a longer term trader, then of course you're going to wait till key areas to responsively buy, right? That's why we talk about responsive selling and responsive buying at these key levels. And this is a key level where we could see responsive sellers, and that's why early on with this gap here, you want to be careful and let the market digest its inventory. And you could see the early range on is not very big. All right, we came back up to that 4,200, tagged it. Now B period's opening up inside of A period, and not really getting any movement either way. We didn't break the Globex high, and we're still trading right near that balance high as well. But volume is 18% more than it was yesterday, and yesterday's volume was pretty weak, if you ask me. Circle gets a square, James. I like it. I watched Tommy Boy yesterday. So funny. Tell you, get a good look at a butcher's ass. Wait, what? What'd you do, Richard? Face doesn't hurt here or here, but right here.
God,
So
I love that movie.
you could see here the sectors are starting to turn up here a little bit, right? XLK, our biggest sector, is starting to come up here a little bit. Financials are starting to come up. XLY is still struggling a little bit, or I mean, healthcare, excuse me. Financials right here is starting to come back up to its high. Consumer discretionary, industrials is really leading the pack on the upside. Consumer staples is starting to try to break its high. Energy struggling here a bit. XLU still holding its gap above, right? Most of these are holding its gap above besides energy. Materials don't really matter. And then real estate, no one gives a shit about real estate. So, and you can see the weighted sectors really starting to pump up. Breath is still strong to the upside. Information technology, consumer discretionary, and healthcare still red, but we've got a mixed bag so far today. And the tick really, did touch the zero line once, but hasn't really come down at all. Morning, Dad.
We got a slow morning today, so I get to watch.
Nice. Are you you're working today or you're off?
I'm working today. Alexa, turn the music off.
Alexa, turn the music on. Just yelling his speaker. She turns it on.
You did it.
Alexa, play Venga Boys.
Yeah, it's doing it. Alexa, turn the music off.
Ask her, Alexa, similar. What's a good entry point? He's like, the best spot to place a bid is at 41.94.
If she doesn't tell you what direction.
Why don't you just ask her how to make money online? I think that's probably the easiest. I think the simplest answer is open an OnlyFans account, I think.
Yeah. Only had some participation. Be like, listen, it's just pictures of your feet. You could be a millionaire.
No, you could just do an OnlyFans account and just have people watch you trade. You don't even, it doesn't have to be anything explicit.
Yeah, but I'm not going to make any good money like that. Need to make millions. There was that kid, I don't know if you guys seen him on like these YouTube reels or Instagram reels, and he like goes up to like these people driving like these really nice cars, and he goes, "Hey, what do you do for a living?"
Daniel Mack.
Yeah, Daniel Mack, yeah. And then like one of the people that he went up to was some girl, and she's like, "I sell feet pics online." I'm like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, she made like
her feet.
She made like a couple $100,000.
Yeah, because men are idiots.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's a given.
Yeah.
Offer moving down here, right on that 94. Dude,
there was even that girl that was selling her farts in jars, dude. Like, yeah. There's a million ways to make money.
I think I saw that, or someone told me about that.
Stupid can you be?
Have you guys ever seen the movie Rat Race?
Rat Race, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
So where he's standing there and he has, well, anyway, so this prostitute comes in and he's like, I want to have a hot tub full of Pepto-Bismol and I want you to cut my toenails and shave my buttocks or something like that. And then all these guys jump out and they're like, okay, this is how, because she tells them how much it was. And all these guys jump out and who had the right bid, and then they figure out who they were going to pay. But I mean, the truth is that there are people like that
Oh yeah.
that just have very particular desires.
With money to blow.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. That's the kicker.
If you got the money, I
Oh,
guess.
I guess when you live in
anything's
your mom's
possible.
basement and you don't have any bills, like yeah, most of your money is disposable.
Yeah, right?
And most of your life, for that matter.
Yeah, Rugsby, you're right. This is looking like acceptance so far. We are seeing, you know, we saw the point of control get pushed down here to 89, little peak below, back into balance. So far, the market is holding up above balance. Go get it. So far they're holding this 94, these buyers are. That's where Alexa said to buy at, so that's what I did. Starting to see the weighted sector start to tick up here a little bit as well. There they go. Ching. Elon sold a bunch of Tesla, like a lot of it.
Well, a lot for him is not. I mean, how much could he have really sold?
Yeah, it was a big amount.
I mean, he has what, 180 billion, something like that. So selling 2 billion, I mean, that's what, 2%, less, a little over 2%.
He sold billions of worth of shares of his electric, almost 8 million shares worth about 6.9 billion is how much he sold
Of Tesla.
of Tesla. Yeah,
So that's 4%,
telling you, Tesla's going to zero, guys.
5%.
Remember, I said it first.
No, I said it first. You and James laughed at me.
You said Tesla's never going away. What are you talking about?
What? What are you talking about? Dude, I was the one who actually shorted Tesla, remember? And you and James were like, why would you short?
Well, because yeah, you were
fucking
shorting.
GameStop?"
You were shorting at the worst time ever.
So where are you at right now with that short there, bud?
Hey,
You'd be
I'm just saying.
deep
I'm
underwater
just-
if you had it.
Wait, hold on.
still.
Wait, hold on.
Okay,
So
hold
I
on,
get
hold
I
on.
get that
Hey.
you said it. I get that you said it.
Okay,
and
I
get
said
that
it
you did.
first.
But the
I know
question
I
is-
said it first.
The question, and you could, here's the thing, I could tell you right now that Microsoft is going to zero. I mean, but it could be 50 years out, dude.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I mean,
it could
Jared's
be, but
Jared's
listen,
been
I'm
calling
gonna
the
be
market
fucking right.
crash since September 2020. So
Yeah,
you see where the market's at right
I was
now.
wrong for the first year and a half. Okay, but it started to work.
Yeah, Thomas, you actually are right. Burry, you know, he got punished pretty hard shorting Tesla. Michael Burry did, but he hates Tesla. I think mostly, you know, he has a spite against Elon as well. But yeah, he doesn't see the adaptability of it. But he's not just fighting Elon; he's fighting the government at this rate, right? Because they just signed that bill yesterday, the science bill, to just try to make everything electronic. And you know what can happen? You know, if they control everything and you've got an electric car, well, they'll just shut it off. Like, oh, software, like a little iRobot situation. You know,
You know
you're in
what's
this-
genius about Tesla?
What's that?
What's genius about Tesla is that they have maintenance, but their maintenance is software updates that you have to subscribe to. You should know that, Stacy.
There's no, I don't pay for any subscription.
Not yet. Not yet.
Well, there's a
There's
subscription. There's a
software that has
subscription
to
with
be downloaded.
BMW coming out
For freaking heated seats. I
for
mean,
heated
that's
seats and
ridiculous.
stuff. Yeah. They're like, oh, you want heated seats? Yeah, I got to pay for that monthly. Crazy.
So I don't doubt that they will get to a point where there are subscriptions for different things. But one of the things that I appreciate about Tesla right now is that, and this is something that all of the auto manufacturers are really struggling with, is just over-the-air updates. Like if you want to get your head unit, like on my Honda, I had some bug and they're like, oh, we'll just update you to the newest version. Bring it in. And it was there for freaking 4 hours to get the head unit updated.
Yeah, the software update. You have to download it.
But in
specifically by
Tesla,
hair.
I just freaking set it up. Hey, 1 a.m. if there's an update, freaking install. Like I don't have to do anything.
Your car, while your car's under warranty, is what I'm saying, that those are covered. But their maintenance is when they get you to come back, or when they get you to subscribe to those updates after your car is out of warranty.
Dude, it's a 4-year warranty.
Yeah, I know.
4-year, 50,000 mile. And I'm not saying that you're not wrong. I'm just saying that right now you're wrong. Eventually, I'm sure that they will do that.
No, they're doing that. They're doing that now on the older cars.
No, they're not.
The software updates?
The software updates are everything can still get the software update. It just might not update your head unit. So there's different versions of the. See, here's the difficulty.
That's what I mean.
This is the discrepancy, and this is the thing that people need to understand: is hardware can never be software, and vice versa. So the idea that you're going to be able to have the same unit or the same, I bought my car in 2020 or whatever, and you're 5 years from then, that the hardware or the software is going to work exactly the same. That's not realistic. So there's going to have to be hard, just like how when you freaking upgrade your computer, you can't run Windows 10 forever because eventually or whatever the newest version of Windows is. I think it's 11, whatever.
Yeah, 11.
Anyway,
yeah.
So you can't run that on a 286 for the same reason why you can't buy a car today and expect in 5 years that it's going to be up to snuff. It's the same premise. The difference with Tesla is that number one, it's modular. So if I need to, so they're working, and it won't work forever, but they're trying their best to maintain a level of continuity so that if I wanted to buy a new infotainment system or upgrade my infotainment system, that I could do it. Now there will be times when that's not possible because hardware goes in very different directions. But overall, Tesla, better than any other manufacturer that I've seen. Like I'll tell you right now, you go buy a freaking Honda Odyssey today, and in 2 years go back and say, hey, I want to replace my head unit with the new version of it. They're going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? It ain't happening.
Right, you just have to buy a new car.
And the head unit from every single year is like completely different. And that's just the radio. I mean, what does that have to do with even freaking driving? But they intentionally make it impossible for you to get the same radio in every single vehicle. But Tesla, it's the same one. I bought mine is a 2019, and you go buy a 2022. It's a new version of the processor and all of that stuff. But eventually, and they're not doing it right now, probably because it's not lucrative for them yet, but there will be a point where they will say, hey, if you want to upgrade your head unit, pay $3,000 and we'll update it.
Right, like putting a new video card in your computer or something like that. Right. Yeah.
But there's no way in hell you could do that with any other manufacturer. And I'm not saying I want to be clear. I only bought a freaking Tesla because they are quick. I'm not here to save the world. I'm not here to fix the planet. I just like what Tesla provides from a technology standpoint, and then all of these other things fall in line. But
weighted sectors are coming down pretty hard here, guys. Look at this. And the Nasdaq's breaking below. Sorry, let me cut you off.
No worries. Anyway, I was ranting anyway. Anyway, so you show me another manufacturer that does that, and I mean, I'm not saying Tesla's perfect because they have their own shortcomings, but overall, they kick every other car manufacturer's ass out the freaking door.
And they're getting, they're getting support from the government, like, not like monetary support, but they are getting like, like that's what the government that's in charge right now wants the market to go to. They want the market to go to green. And so, you know, everything is basically on their side. That's why you're seeing a lot of these. I mean, there's an all electric Mustang now, right? We had a muscle car that is 100% electric now, right? It's ugly as shit, but you know, obviously there's an effect going on and some incentive from some of these companies to try to, you know, go green with quotations for this exact reason, right? And Elon's just way ahead of the curve.
He's definitely setting the trend. The government, I wouldn't say the government is helping per se Tesla. They're definitely pushing the EV or a new segment beyond the internal combustion cars. But
Right.
but yeah.
Energy's breaking down here pretty significantly. Let me pull this other chart back up here. We can see energy's really coming down here. Staples are doing okay. Utilities doing okay. Industrial still leading the pack. Consumer discretionary still chilling. Financials are chilling. XLK is pulling off of the highs, but still hasn't really broken down too much. We'll go ahead and put a little marker here. See if they start to come down. But still, you know, still a pretty significant gap, and we're getting right to that balance low here, or balance high, excuse me. Yeah, Discord has a chat room, Mark. It does. And that's another thing too. So like after the stream is over, if you guys want to jump into the chat room after the market closes, you know, definitely feel free to. There's a in the Discord right here. If you go to the Discord, right here under TPO chat, right under the trade chat, you go into TPO chat, and it's actually a voice chat. I recommend everyone jump in there and use it as much as you want to. Two brains are always better than one, I think. So always good to help maintain perspective. Right, like whenever I'm confused about what the market wants to do, I'm like, "Hey, Jared, what do you think's going to go on here?" And he's like, "Oh, I think it's going to shit off a cliff." And then I'm like, "Okay, let me get long." Right.
I'm normally your best indicator.
Like, oh yeah, I use the stochastics and the MACD. What do you use? I'm like, oh, I have this friend named Jared, and he's the leading. He's not a lagging indicator. He's the leader.
He lets me know what all the idiots think.
Are you still doing one contract, Jared, or have you bagged that model?
I'm all over the place. And for the most part, I have been trying, and then I get a little carried away, make my money, and then I'm like, okay, take it easy, go back to one lot.
So he's backed that model. That was the short answer there. Tesla's a great car, but quality are behind like Porsche. My friend bought a brand new Tesla, and front hood has more of a gap in one side than the other side, same as the back of the trunk.
Yeah, there's definitely quality issues. I think that they're probably pushing the envelope of production, but that's only. But the reality is it's because they're putting out a huge amount of cars based on what they're probably really spec to do. And as far as EVs go, I mean, they're the only ones that are actually putting out anything. I mean, I think isn't Rivian pulling back their numbers?
Rivian,
They
I saw
went to like from hundreds to like tens of cars.
Elon tweeted that he had more kids last year
yeah,
than
that's
Rivian
right.
had cars.
Yeah. And then everyone was moaning and complaining about how Tesla had all these recalls, which were software recalls, which was they had to send out the letter that just basically said, hey, by the way, there's going to be a software update an over-the-air update, so you don't need to bring it in. And all of these people were, oh my gosh, there's so many recalls on Tesla. And then GM had a recall, Porsche had a recall. I don't remember. There was a few of them. Hyundai had a recall. Like all of these cars had recalls on their electric cars where they actually physically had to go in. I think the Volt. I think they recalled every single Volt made.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them, they're just trying to push out something that they don't really have all the technology yet. They're just trying to get it to shelves. There's a Discord link
And
there for you, Pierre. Morning, Adam. We're seeing the weighted sectors start to pull off here a little bit. Starting to see that tick start to come down, and look at the NASDAQ is failing to hold above that long-term trend line, and we're starting to see a little bit of a move down here.
ouch. Well, that 88 did not hold. I kept thinking the 88 was going to hold. It did not hold.
Yeah, not yet. Yeah, a lot of volume came in up above it. You have a little bit of excess on the high. This failure to break that Globex high was a little of an indication of just weakness there. Take a peek around the block real quick. Oil's still coming down pretty hard here. We already looked at the NASDAQ. You can see Apple coming back down below its open, breaking that back down below, trying to close that gap. AMD here, pulling back down a little bit. Amazon also pulling back down. May have ran into a responsive. They had a pretty decent selling tail on the top. Amazon did. Google still kind of holding its highs, so I do like that look. You know, like I said, I think Google is what we need to break out to the highs in order to give the market what it needs to really get this nice pump going. Here's Meta still holding up on the highs. Microsoft is still holding up on the highs. Netflix also still holding up on the highs, and then also Tesla pulling back here pretty significantly, back down to that 850, right? And that's probably on the heels of you know, their fearless leader just blowing it out, right? Selling, I mean, I feel like $6.5 billion is a lot. You have a Hyundai Ioniq since 2017. The range is only 137 miles, but they work great around town. Yeah, Ace, we had those Hyundai Ioniqs when I was in recruiting in the Army. They were hybrids though. They weren't full electronic. And they weren't bad cars. I mean, you could just hear everything on the road, right? They're not like nice cars, but yeah, I didn't have any complaints about them. Except for sometimes the Bluetooth connection to my phone would like sometimes if I got out of the car and then got back in the car like you know, within 5 minutes, it would just be like, oh, sorry, no. Like it just would not connect back to my phone. It would just piss me off. We're definitely seeing a little bit of a shift in tone here as far as the upside goes, right? This weighted sector really rolled over pretty hard here and is now negative. So if sellers come down and start to sell below the balance high, there is, you know, opportunity for the downside. Mark, you said you think the market's going to dump still? Yeah, I mean it definitely could. There we are seeing a little bit of change, but it did look like, you know, a bit of short covering, um, and it's really just going to have to depend upon, you know, if these buyers decide to, you know, keep stepping up at these lower prices, or if sellers are actually going to move down. Because right here it didn't look like much volume at all came down. It looked like most of the volume down there was just short covering, and so we'll look probably the 90 I think was where that offer came in, the 89, yeah, 89 90 level was where that offer came in before we broke that 88 and then really started to see liquidation. Pierre, is that you, the P carriage? Oh yeah, obviously sitting him. SEC is the proposed requirement for hedge funds to report crypto. Oh, okay, interesting. About 4 minutes until C period opens up. So watch the 90 if this thing comes back in. It seemed like that's where the offer was at the 90. And so see if they come down to sell this balance high. And this is a previous high, right? So it's up that's why it's our balance high. So it's the top of balance. We should see some mechanical selling around this 89.90, and it happens to be the half back. So it would make sense that if these sellers wanted to continue selling the market, that this is where they would come in to get an opportunity here if they're being responsive. Switch back to the NASDAQ here. Offer still sitting on this 89. You can see them trying to hold it. Mechanical sellers show up right on cue here, right at the 89. Break above 89 probably takes us back to 95, which we saw was a big level earlier. At 95 to 97 is that point of control here. But this is an opportunity for sellers really to kind of put their money where their mouth is and push this thing lower and respond to these higher prices. And I think Biden's live right now as well. Can't believe 3 to 500 is large. I remember when 3 to 5,000 was large. Yeah. Yeah, the market, I mean, it's been this year especially, everyone's been very cautious about getting on big size. And I think that just speaks volumes about how uncertain the market really is, or how uncertain even some of the bigger players in the market are about what's going on and what the future is going to hold. Oh, Biden signing a bill. Macro environment. The Fed is still going to have to raise rates to combat inflation. Yeah. Yeah, the big thing is just how much they're going to, right? And that's the thing that you've got to remember is with us, we're day trading, right? Intraday trading. So we're not necessarily trading that macro thing, right? If you are trading macro, that's a little bit different. But for us here, for me specifically, I don't only know how I'm trading, but I'm not really trading a macro trend. I do pay attention to the macro trend to help me with the sentiment of the market, but when it comes to actually what's going on the chart, that's where a lot of times day traders get tricked is because all of these things are coming out with that are more macro involved, right? Let me look at the volume here in that last period. So still unable to break that 90 right there. The 89-90 area is still holding for the most part. Volume in that last period was 11%. So there's a little bit of a cool down in volume there. And so here's the Fed funds rate tool. Pull it up here real quick. And so we can see here, right? This is where's the dot plot? So we can see longer term, this is 2022, they're looking to get up to 4, but you can see the consensus on 3.5, and this is kind of telling us that the next rate isn't necessarily going to be as high as people think. So if there is the next rate that is, you know, a big mover, we can assume that the market should react pretty bearishly off that, right? Let's say the Feds raise even 3/4 basis points, but if they raised a full basis point on the next rate hike, that could have a negative effect on the market here. And they're saying 2023, they expect rates to go higher. People are still expecting it, but they're being cautiously optimistic in 2022. We did have inflation pull back, not really anything crazy, right? Pulling back to 8.5 when 8.5 was the high just like a couple of weeks ago isn't really anything to write home about. But then there you can see 2024 people looking to see around those same rates, and then going into the longer run, people talking about lower rates still. So we're just kind of have to kind of trade what we see on the chart. If you are taking a little bit more macro of a look, then that's a different story, right? You'd be positioning yourself a little bit different, and that's why we're looking at this NASDAQ here. If you are going to be a longer-term seller, where's a good spot to be a longer-term seller? Well, from right here, a long-term trend that's been holding for a long time would make sense to be a long-term seller from. Back to that 90, let's see if these buyers try to lift this offer. This offer's held on the 90 here for probably like the last like 30 minutes for the most part, last like 20 minutes. So I guess I'm thinking of the macro environment. Sure, CPI numbers came out relatively positive. However, inflation is still high and the macro environment is still crap. Yeah, that's agreed. Morning, Trin. Apparently an unknown investor has just bought 133,000 Bitcoin with an average price of 23K, spending $3 billion. He's now one of the 3 largest holders. Putin could be. Never know. So a lot of buyers buying into the 90 there, but still no move up yet. Let's see if they try it again here. A little bit of sellers liquidating right there on the 91. 91's the weak spot here on the move up. So you can tell right there just from how that traded that those are shorter term time frame traders, right? So they were selling the 90, selling the 90, selling the 90. It was working in the latter stages of B. It was working in the beginning part of C. As soon as it climbed up and that offer got lifted, what did they do? They flipped right around and started buying the 91. NASDAQ's coming back up to that long-term trend. $3B-ish, right? Into Bitcoin. What's that mean? Musk have sold 6.5 million Tesla and put it into Bitcoin. He could have, Nelson. That's actually 3 billion-ish. Yeah, it's pretty close. Let's see. Oh yeah, 3 billion. Yeah. Yeah, he could have. That's definitely a possibility for sure. Yeah, okay, that makes sense, Mark. And you know, a lot of times I think, and I've been talking about this, I think crypto has been kind of identifying these longer term trends a little bit early. And especially if we switch over here, once this trading view opens up, um, if we look at ETH, I could type, um, we look at ETH and we're looking at ETH on the daily. How do we remove all these drawings? All right. What's going on here? Oh, that's the 50. Not really. I wanted to see. Okay, so here's ETH. I wanted to see a monthly chart though. Month. So if we look at ETH on the monthly level, right? If ETH closes inside or inside this month, and we still have a couple of days left, right? My stop loss real quick. Where's this? Let's do this. Put a 1 month moving average. So, this is need a longer chart. Here we go. So with ETH really not closing below, we could switch back to the daily for this. With ETH really not having a significant close below this 1 month moving average, right? And I mean, I know it's just 1 month, but pretty much every time ETH gets down to this level, where's the monthly? You see it. Let me change the color of it too. And this is something that Chris Vecchio was talking about and really made me start paying attention to it yesterday. But every time there is a look below this 1 month moving average, ETH gets a bounce, right? So here it looks below, gets below there, and look, it's bouncing now here. Elon bought 3 billion BTC, like Nelson said. Oh, did they just say? Did they just say that? Did that come out on Twitter or something? I didn't see that. Where did you see that? But we've seen, you know, like I said, this is back in November. The market didn't turn over until January or till the end of December. And so the same thing with Bitcoin, right? If we start to see, and we're getting close to that spot where we should see a responsive seller, if there is a responsive seller come into the market, if not, and we see Bitcoin start to break out, that's just going to give me more confidence really in the long side of the ES market or the futures market and the equities in general, because they have been more of a leader than a lagger, or at least finding the timing with them has been a little bit easier because of how volatile they are. So it's like the information gets put out there and then money pours into speculation, right? Or risk on assets, which is crypto, right? Crypto, and then tech stocks are more risk on. And so that's been an indication that I've been paying attention to. Mostly I've been paying attention to Bitcoin until yesterday. I was watching Chris Vecchio and he had been talking about that 1 month moving average on Ethereum. And I know a lot of people are still holding a lot of Ethereum, right? They're not going to be giving that up, you know, super easy or anything like that. Anything can happen. Anything can happen when you blah 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 blah. I don't know how that song goes. Anyone seen that Lego movie?
Everything is awesome.
Everything is awesome.
There you go.
That first Lego movie is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. If you guys
Yeah, oh
haven't
yeah,
seen it, it's pretty good.
damn straight. That was a good movie. That's a good adult movie where people are like, there was one guy who has kids and he's like, oh yeah, that's just stupid. I can't do it. And I'm just like, seriously? It has so much adult humor.
Yeah, yeah, they did a great job. And Chris Pratt, I really like Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt's good.
He's awesome. So if we do get a break here of this B high, and then really we need to see a break of that Globex high, that would show us some initiation from these buyers willing to step up. You can see that the breadth is picking back up. We're starting to see the weighted sectors pick back up, starting to see the bull come back in here in XLK, right? The big weighted sectors. Healthcare is still just kind of balancing a little bit higher. The consumer discretionary is starting to catch up. XLF financials is still just hanging out. Consumer staples starting to, communication services, sorry, is starting to pick up on the high. Industrials is really going. Consumer staples here is kind of the struggler of the day, but even energy hit a bottom and is starting to bounce. Utilities, materials, and real estate all kind of doing their thing. And then we see the NASDAQ in our bottom right-hand corner here above that long-term trend line, still holding out for this upside here. So there's still opportunity here for the market to break out, and it looks like we're getting acceptance above this balance high. Everything is cool when you're part of a team. There we go. Everything is awesome. All right, Crypto Mojo, have a good day, man. Everything is awesome when you're living the dream. Such a catchy song. That offer still sitting on the OO here at 4,200, 650 lots. Come on, let's see stop run this time. Yeah. Yeah, that new electric Mustang is ugly as shit. There's no doubt about that. It was like when they put 4 doors on the Charger. And I mean, I like the new Charger. It's a nice car. Um, but it's not a Charger. They should have just called it something else, you know? Like they should have called the new Mustang like the Carousel or something, since it's electric.
Call it a boat.
Yeah, it does. It is like
That does not. I think it looks ugly as sin.
it's like it looks like a Prius, yeah.
Looks like a freaking pregnant Prius.
So watch we get one tick above and then mechanical selling right off of the open, or a little bit below the open front running. You see an offer move down to the open right at the 99. A little bit of selling trying to come in here and front run that open. They're just not doing a great job, these sellers. NASDAQ didn't take that previous high yet. You know, they did a pretty decent job with the Challenger. The Challenger looked pretty cool. So watch this 97 here. I think this is where sellers are about to get trapped. They just did. Yep. They don't get it back below this 97. They're getting stuck right here on the 97. It looks like a bid just jumped up to the 97 and is holding it. Big buyer came in on the 97, 100 lots. Oh yeah. No, I don't need them charging. Yes. All right, let's get this stop run rolling. Here we go. We trapped him on 97. To the moon, Alice. Right back down to 97 to see if this buyer is real serious still. Gonna take a little bit of steam here to bust this top. There's about almost 700 lots sitting on the 00 there. Counts are 71 to 0. Yeah, I mean, I think we identified that buyer so far, and that buyer's at 97. So if that, as long as this 97 holds, the upside should be pretty much clear. It's just going to take some initiation because there's 707 lots sitting on the 00. So someone's going to have to capitulate and really just call it a day or move down and start to respond below this 97. But with that amount of buying that's coming in up here, I don't suspect that they'll hold on to it. So if it does break below 97 and starts to hold, this thing could really just turn back down and probably look back towards that point of control around 93. Yeah, I want to see. Yeah, so do I. Let's put our best asset on it real quick. You got to show them how to do it. You got to run through that stop sign right there. Yeah, I mean the rest of the market looks, it looks like it wants to go. It's starting to look at, look at these sectors here. XLK is getting up, XLV is starting to, balance a little bit higher, kind of struggling. XLY, XLF financials, and this is kind of the most bullish thing really for the market so far is that financials is gapped up and really held up here at the highs. Because you would expect with inflation that would be, the most cautious or optimistic market. And if there was a big miss on inflation today, or a big increase on inflation today, then we probably would have seen financials just get hammered to the downside. Back down below that 97 here, so just be careful. We've got 10 minutes until the next period opens up. Point of control shifts up here. If SPY can keep holding the 418, I'm bullish for the day. Lose it and I cut it. Yeah, I think you should be good. I'm trying to look up this Fed futures chart real quick. It's actually up. You can see here up at 90. ZQU is the one I'm looking at. I'm looking at the September contract. Looks like it's coming up a little bit, but still not really getting any steam here. Come on, Tesla, slam back to 877. Tesla's struggling here comparatively to, a lot of these other ones, right? We can see Netflix is still doing really well, one time framing to the upside. Microsoft is balancing higher, looking to try to take that high. My boy Google really trying to give us the lead that we need. Oh, here we go. Come on. You can do it. Oh, struggle. We can see Google's breaking out, trying to get back up to its pre-market high. It is broken out above its cash high here. Amazon still struggling a little bit. It had that big spike come in early on. Apple is trying to do the same. And then AMD here is just balancing lower, looking a little bit weak. These semiconductors have been fairly weak for the most part this week.
AMD has been on an uptrend for the past. Well, let me rephrase that. It looks like it's on an uptrend. I can't guarantee that it is, but it's been going. All the candles have been green since 9:15, at least on the mic chart. It looks like it's doing decent. I can't say that it's going to continue, but
put it back onto one tick increments here because the VIX is below 20, right? That's kind of what we use. For that. Yeah, AMD, look at it opened higher and then came down, but yeah, since then has been basically been coming up for like the past half hour.
yeah. I'm curious to see if it'll hold, but yeah, ever since that it hit bottom and then it's been up about $1.50, which given how the range that it's gone today, that's probably almost half of the range that it's done.
Gap fill, reclaim last week's low. It's mechanical. That would be savage. Especially if it happened in a day. And we've seen this, with CPI before, where we've had this huge move up and then the next day, boom, gap down. Last month actually was the first time we didn't have like a big 3% up day and then the next day a 3% down day. Mechanical. Counts are picking up again, 108 to 4. Curtis, did you just say a bad word? It sounded like he said make shit. Okay, relax. It's what it sounded like. Okay. I mean, it's only a matter of time for my kids to just start letting them loose. Much swearing as I do, they're just like bound to let a couple accidentally come out. Market makers love to use the news to move the market because they know that retail will pile in when they see big green candles. Facts. Proceeds to say the word. I don't hold back in front of my kids. I like how I talk on here is how I talk all the time. It's just who I am, and I don't try to filter myself for my kids because when it comes to life as they grow up, people are gonna be how they're gonna be. So, if you're doing your kids a disservice really if you're like treating them on eggshells, I think. They my kids are smart enough to know that they should or shouldn't be using these words. And my son, when he becomes an adult, he's ready. As soon as he turns 18, he's just gonna just F-bomb it up. What are we thinking here? Market's gonna go up or down? Yeah. Okay, and good call. All right, you guys heard it here. Curtis said the market's going up. Jumping longs. Did who email me back? Oh, let me see. Yeah, here it is. We got 100 platinum points. We can redeem them at Nintendo.com.
You did it.
I don't know yet. We had to put this code in. I'll do it after the stream. Nope. We can wait.
What do you think?
I'm in a long, so I'm hoping. You think it could move to the right? Yeah, and it definitely could, right? We are getting, pretty mixed signals so far as where the market wants to go. We had the weighted sector flip negative, it's back to positive. We're starting to see a little bit of green here. The breath is still picking up in the NYSE, but we're just not seeing that continuation, right? So like with a breath like this, we really should see a nice trend start to develop if this buying is serious. So the longer we kind of just balance up at these highs, the better the opportunity becomes that there is a correction back down to the downside. Oh, stage 5 trading. If anyone is looking to open up an account on Sierra Charts, they're offering a 3-month free Sierra Chart usage for qualifying traders who switch from their existing trading platform to Sierra's 10 order routing service. So if you are looking to get into Sierra Charts, now might be the time. Here we go. See if they can take this 4,200 out, 700 lots. They're trading it. Oh, yeah, they got it. Ooh, offer comes back down on the 4,200. Dun, 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 dun. There they go. There's the break. And just like that, the market's one time framing to the upside here. D period opens up and just starts skying. You guys heard it. Curtis said. Up. There's just orders stacked like every 5 points, just waiting for stop losses to come out. Like I said, my target here on this upside is 42.52. And then before that, there's like a 42. Where's my paper at? on a second. Charge. Thank you, Curtis. Market just needed to hear him say a little bit of confidence that we wanted to go up. Where's this VPOC to the upside at? There's that 4204, which was that that's that holiday swing high there. So if we look at the chart here on the ES, there's that break. If we add the extended hours in, here's that 4204 here. So next level up is 42, I mean really like 42.39 to 41. I still like this 50 level. And then really that 4303 is like the ultimate target that we've been, kind of waiting on for weeks here. So and what do we not do to a one-time framing market?
Short it.
Short it, right? At least not seriously, right? Don't just get in a short up here thinking, oh, this is it, right? And I mean,
Even though I got stopped out on my long earlier, that sucked. I thought I was gonna hold that 88 and it freaking broke, and I finally had to close my long way down there in around 80. And look at where it's at. Oh, I should have shorted that whole fucking way down. That was actually my short. I was just in the long actually,
or you could have
look,
been more patient and just waited for it
just
to get up above the 88 again and hold and then get long.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was long at like 92 and was in that trade for 20-30 minutes, and yeah, then that breakdown stopped me out. It's too much to bear.
Well, don't worry, Jared. I'm long from 87, so 87.75, so.
Nice. Get it.
I don't have that. I just had got an email from them, Double R. Let me pull it up. I could probably find it. What my email? Oops, fuck. Yeah, I'll post it right here for you. Just a huge breakout here, right? Big buy order on the 4209, 100 lots. Look at the NASDAQ here is really just on a tear above that long-term trend line here. Oh, come on. What are you doing, NASDAQ? There we go. Looking to break its pre-market high still. Everything is awesome. The dollar taking a shit, it is taking a shit, and that's actually good for the market, right? Because it's an inverse correlation. We can see, let's get a little bit more time added here, but we can see breaking a long-term trend, and we were talking about this morning, how it had broken down below this long-term trend, and so we're just waiting for that, capitulation, and then now it's coming in here, and we're starting to see, buyers really just kind of tear this market onto the upside here. And it's awesome. And I mean, look at Bitcoin too. It hasn't broken out yet, which is interesting. So maybe the market's leading here, a little bit of risk on here. We might see the market start to or the Bitcoin start to break up here soon. Offers coming in right there at the 1175 here. Starting to see an offer for the first time. Oil's getting a little smack down as well. Still holding though for the most part. Where that big buy order came in at 4209. It was 100 and can't even find it so far. 100 lots. Yeah, that's the new tool bag. Yeah. Would be nice if it peaked. Yeah, if the dollar comes down, I mean, the dollar coming down for the rest of the world is actually good. Look at the VIX is just getting hammered here as well. Healthcare still not breaking above its high. Neither is XLY. Financials broke out. Consumer communication services broke out. Industrials we've seen breaking out the whole day. Consumer staples broke out, but it's since come back down in. Energy is getting back to the high of the day as well. You can see our weighted sectors here really starting to come out. Are you going somewhere? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. You leave Curtis here? Yeah.
And my mom.
Oh, yeah, that'll be nice. Can you guys just stop at Garrity's after then?
Sure.
Or while you're out?
Yeah.
Get those fajitas. You gonna stay here with me? What? I said fajitas. Curtis definitely said shit earlier. What do you need there? Oh, is there a snack bar at that Target? Oh, nice. No, I don't want to go. I just want popcorn.
Target today.
So the book is pretty thin here. Well, I mean, thinnish because these orders are a lot bigger than normal. Most of these bids and offers up here are 100 lot orders on each tick. Which Curtis, watch it. What are you doing? Okay, watch my drink. Which we haven't really seen a lot, or in a while at least, because most of the time it's or double digit orders. But right here we're seeing pretty much every single tick has a triple digit order or triple digit offer sitting on it. Sellers being a little bit more aggressive up here for sure. Above that 42.10, probably see it another move to the upside. Still 20 minutes left in this period here. See, the tick still hasn't closed one time below 0, and now we'll see the breadth at 7-1 and the Nasdaq picking up to 4 here. Still information technology really just trying to peak above its high here and get back up to that green. We're gonna see these sellers get trapped here on the 8, 7.5 level. They're trying to move down still, so we're just being patient. If you're not still in a trade right now, it's not the spot to just try to pick a side. Let the market kind of understand what just happened and figure out if buyers are going to continue to step up or if they need to come back down to find some of these bidders. There'd be a lot of single prints below to hold. And don't forget where we're at, right? We're at a spot where we could see a longer term responsive seller enter the market and really shove the market down. So you don't want to just be just getting long because you just think that the market's going to continue to go up. A little bit of short covering there on that 475. So if this comes back into range, what would that tell us? Who wants to chime in here? If we come back into range and let's say E period starts to trade back down in, towards that balance high, what would we be thinking here, especially with this big spike in D period? Let's pull up the ES chart on the daily here. Yes. Go. Nobody wants to chime in? So we've got balance here, right? We had a previous balance up here. We broke above that balance high.
Look above and fail.
Look above and fail. And what do we assume is going on up here? And that would be, I mean, we'd have to get
And excess.
Excess. There we go. Excess, right? Some of the key things that we want to pay attention to in the market, one of the most valuable things or most informative things is excess, right? One thing that I love is some good excess. And so if we do trade back into this range with a big selling tail that we would have here, that would kind of tell us more or less that to expect more selling up here and possibly the entrance of a longer time frame seller, right? We've got to always maintain perspective, right? And it was kind of like these past 2 days, and the reason I've been looking on the upside all week is because even though this was a down day and yesterday was a down day, we didn't make any significant progress to the downside. We even put out a poor low yesterday, but most of the trading that was done was more or less just indicating long-term traders taking profit. So if we get an opportunity like we talked about this morning for these long-term traders trying to take profit up at the highs, they're going to be selling to long-term sellers, right? So this would be an advantageous opportunity for them to get out of their trades. They liquidated a bit before the move up because naturally they're unsure of what's going to happen with the CPI report came out positive. We got an emotional move to the upside, and now they're getting an opportunity to trade with this long-term seller. Remember, it's always important to maintain perspective, as Jim Dalton always says. One of the things that can really just kind of keep you in the right way. Right, Ace. Excess and balance. You probably heard Jim say it. I think you're in the class, right, with Jim? He probably says excess and balance like 1,000 times a day. The two most important things to look for. Excess and balance. it's really telling of the market if when we can see or when we can identify excess and balance. Like when we got this B low, we got some good excess on the low, which is why what got me into that trade when we came back above the balance high, I got filled just right below it at 75, 87.75. But you know, this, where did I close this trade at? I closed my last lot at 42.08, so I didn't get all the way up to 42.12. I just, kind of trailed it up, trying to be a little bit greedy, I guess. 'Cause I would have tried to trail it all the way up to the 50, but unlucky, I guess. Right, no initiated buyers showed up. But this is telling, a big excess like this is telling of, maybe a longer term seller entering the market. And we want to flip back to the NASDAQ real quick. NASDAQ's already, kind of re-entered its range of the day back inside its A period. But if the NASDAQ starts to climb below that long-term trend, that could be telling as well. And I'm not saying that the upside is over at all. I'm just trying to help everybody stay objective and understand the possibilities up here. You can see the breadth cooling off, the weighted sectors cooling off. Pull over our, Octabox. XLK still cooling off. XLV, healthcare never broke that high. Neither did XLY. XLF is still doing okay. XLC still doing okay. XLI, the leader of the day, has been doing good. Consumer staples is still kind of struggling. Energy made a nice rebound back up to the highs, but found the seller again at that same spot. And utilities and materials and real estate really just don't fucking matter. So, for the most part. The old pop, lock, and then drop. Let's see the VIX. Did the VIX come back above 20 on this move back down? It did. Yep. The VIX came back above 20 here. I'll just put it back on 2. We'll switch it if it stays under 20. Oh, yeah.
Brad, now that you're out of that trade, are you tempted to get back in if it holds this impulse area, or are you kind of waiting to let some time play out and
Yeah, I am.
see how it runs?
I'm really looking at this 41.75. I almost bought it when it just came down right there, but I held off. I think I might wait until E period opens up, let them just kind of have the rest of this. But I like the impulse area, and that impulse was basically like a 4200 to like 4202. So yeah, that's exactly my thoughts, TJ. And you're seeing a lot of volume come in here at this lower edge of D. Kind of like getting antsy, right? Because I don't want to miss the trade either, but also I don't want to take it and then have it just punish me down and give back some of the gains. So I'm being cautious.
Because I didn't get in. I thought about putting a buy stop above 4200 for when we broke, but I didn't. And then I clicked buy bid and didn't get filled, so I just had to chase it up. So I didn't get in until like 4204. So I only got like 5 points off of that move, trying to trail it, and then I didn't get out to like 4208. So I don't want to go long at 4201 and then get taken out and then lose my gains that I just got
Right.
off that one trade.
Yeah, I definitely, yeah, I'm feeling that same way. Is I don't want to give back any gains on a day that's been productive, especially trying to just get up, just because it just looks like everything's going to go up. And I mean, it definitely could keep going. The breadth still looks strong. The market still looks strong. We haven't seen a re-entrance into that area. That 40, what was the low of this bar, was like 99, 41.99 quarter, it looks like. So yeah, it's just tough spot, because like you said, this thing could easily just rotate back down into the value. That's why I want to wait for E period to open up, and I'm going to play off those single prints. If E period opens up with some single prints, that's where I'm going to look to play. That way it'll give me a more defined stop, because even right here, let's say you get long this 42.0350, right? You're putting your stop below the open, maybe below that D low, and that's still not necessarily be a great place to put a stop, because it could easily just come down to 96 and then go straight back to the highs. So it's just, I'm trying to give myself a little bit more defined risk, whereas up here you're gonna have to put on a decent amount of risk. The gain is still pretty high, right? You're targeting that 42.12. You had all those contracts trade up there, but you might just miss the trade. But I don't mind waiting for the E period to pop open and give us whatever it wants to give us. Hi, buddy. Love you.
And go to my
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, while I was sitting in that trade, trying to trail it up, I was seeing all those orders on the DOM, man. It seemed like a lot of volume. I haven't seen volume like that in a while.
Yeah, we definitely haven't had
hundreds of orders trading on the offer, and then it jump up a few points. Hundreds of offers trading,
Yeah, it's been since like May since we've seen that. Before we had that big breakdown. So a large selling tail can be a good signal that a current uptrend could be over with, because large candles to the upside create opportunity for a large seller to get in against retail FOMO short-term traders when they leave their positions, further helping a large seller. I mean, yeah, for the most part, if you get a large selling tail on the high, a lot of times that's telling you that at least an intermediate time trader, or other than day trader, why Jim calls it other traders, or other time frame traders entering the market, because it's a quality opportunity. Doesn't mean that it can't go up. Even if they are entering the market on a short here, it doesn't mean that the market can't continue to the upside, right? Because they're a longer time trader. They're not looking about today. They're looking at, okay, this is a fair price, right? And they're seeing the the opportunities to determine, like, okay, if I get in a little bit here, and then take some more here, and then take some more here, right? If because their long-term target is going to be much lower, so they're entering. It's not like they're putting on full size here and it's like, all right, if it doesn't go down, I'm fucked, right? They're building into a position. Reyes, good morning. Do I think the profile is going to be a trend day? I do. Yeah, I think that we are going to end on a trend day to the upside, but it's gonna, that's just my personal opinion. There's no way to know for sure until the market starts to close. We've got about 5 minutes until the next period opens up. Pop, good morning. Nasdaq's still doing okay here too. Where's volume at? Oh, Yeah, Roach, I am what yeah, I like that idea as well, that 10 level. If we don't see more selling come up in that 10 level, then I think we'll probably just keep on keeping on. We might get a cessation, but I don't think that calls the end of this up move. You mean to the cessation of one time framing? Yeah, especially if E period, yeah. If E period, let's say E period takes the D low here, E period opens up in about 4 minutes or 3 minutes. Let's say it comes down, comes right back to the point of control or a half back or something like that. It could still keep going up and take the highs for sure. That's not necessarily going to tell us anything. Brown dog. What's up, bro? Will said longs are trapped. Oh, how come I'm not getting any of these comments? All right. Me too. Little offer moving down here on the 5. Yeah, still 10% more volume than yesterday, but yesterday was a really light volume day. And it's already 11:30. Crazy how fast time flies when the market actually moves. And I honestly, I mean, I didn't really care which way the market went. I was just ready for the market to make a decision. You know, if the market would have went down, that would have been great. Also, it doesn't necessarily matter to me which way the market goes. The bot's out, AMD. So volume must be drying up then if the bot jumped out. Yesterday when the bot jumped out, it really did jump out really close to the low because it was in that put yesterday, and then the market pretty much, I mean, especially AMD, pretty much one time framed up into the close. So I mean, it's been working really well. Go 30 seconds. So it looks like we are going to open up on some single prints. So let's see if they try to close them right away. If they don't close them right away, there might be opportunity here to a snag along. I like that 4202, 420175 level. So we open on some singles here. Volume in the last session was 12%, so there was actually a volume pickup in that last period compared to in D. There was a volume pickup compared to C, which makes sense that all those trades came through on that 4200.
The bot was seeing a marginal movement up, so it decided it was done. We'll see if it was wrong.
So E period's really tight here so far. Starting to catch a little bit of a bid here though. Ooh, there's a buyer down here somewhere. I just saw a weird flash on the DOM here, sitting like around the 4, it looked like.
Yeah, I saw the same thing. Around the 3, it looked like to me, but yeah, I saw the same thing.
Yeah, like a 600 lot order. Yeah, 700 lots. Yeah, okay.
It was gone before. I just saw a flash.
Yeah. Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, it looks like there's somebody down there trying to mess around. Offers stepping down to that 875 here, 500 lots. Yeah, it keeps jumping in and out. Tell me you're seeing it too. So buyers are up here at the 7. Looks like they're trying to lift the offer, but getting absorbed here.
Yeah, is that guy trying to spook the market up to fill his shorts though?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Yeah. Is that, I mean, when you see an offer or a bid like that's not within like a couple ticks of the price, that's what they're doing. They're just trying to entice people like, hey, come on.
That happened earlier on the 93 quarter. There was a bid, and as soon as it popped up a few, he pulled the bid. The bid was gone.
Yeah, and then that's what during
Then
B period,
the
right?
market come down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know when that. Earlier this morning, I was watching though. He had a bid on the 3/4. The market kept popping up, and then it went up a bit, and then boom, his bid was gone, and there was an offer up above. So, and then it came down.
Sellers just got trapped on the 7 right here. If they can't get back below the 7, it looks like they might. Well, we'll see. The 875 is right here with 400 lots, and it's not going anywhere either. Yeah, there's the 7 again. Definitely a battle here on this 7. I'm still just waiting down here on the fucking 2. Like, come on. Come on down here. I'll take a piece of that. The trading view has a new CVD indicator? Oh, I'm not sure. Oh, I'm not getting these in my Streamlabs thing. Feels like afternoon sessions have been boring. Yeah, they kind of have been. Yeah, I agree with that. They have been kind of boring. So there's that 4 level. So you see that buyer is there. Look at all the orders that just traded on the 4 down on the bid. And you get a kind of a little bit of a bounce, but it kind of looks like maybe he's scalping because the market just ticks up and then ticks back down, ticks up and then ticks back down. So you're not really seeing, any big fill. He just kind of looks like he might be just kind of scalping here. Intrabar. Oh, you don't like it? What's it? It's not. Did they change the old CVD or is it like the new? Is it a different indicator? So here's that 2 trades right underneath of it. Let's see if we can find some buyers. There's still a bit of single prints here. One single print below there. Nice. Ooh, offer moved down on that 275. See that? That big order moved down 275. Trying to smother the price, I wonder. He jumps out of the way. Actually, he might have got traded. He did get traded. He moved down and closed. That guy moved down and closed. So whoever faded that market from above, looked like they just moved down and cut their short right there on that 2 quarter. Interesting. Bad, not bad. So it held the single prints. I moved my stop up to 42.03 quarter. I'm just being a little bitch now. But I'm just might take profits way like up at 14.75, looking to just see if this thing can just kind of sky a little bit. But a really tight stop, and if I get taken, just look in the mirror and have to tell myself I was being a little bitch. But it didn't fill the singles, right? One tick shy here. I know it looks like it did, but it didn't. This is on a 2-tick increment. This profile is here, so yeah. And there we go. I'm out. Dun, 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 dun. AMD starting to get some gas here.
It tried.
All the
It did a little. It did a little bit. I mean, so the bot got out, I don't know, last candle, but it went just past it, went up just a bit. So it sold at 164 right now. It's at 171. But the next candle, then it started dipping. So I don't know. Maybe it'll continue though. It's only 2.5% up. So it's got ways to go if it really wants to jump.
Fucking Nancy Pelosi's just get to the mirror. I got a mirror right here next to my desk. Get to the mirror so I can tell myself stop being a little bitch. What's the other chip maker?
Micron,
Their ticker.
Intel, MU.
MU. There it is. Let's see if these semiconductors are gonna go, because I think Biden did like that. Now the bill's a law or whatever, so or something, some bullshit. I think that's
It's
why.
funny. So before market opened, it says Micron warns of slump in chip manufacturer, blah, 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 and everything chip. And well, obviously it dipped at the beginning, but it like jumped right before open and then dropped down basically to that same level where it had jumped from and then jumped back up again.
Nvidia did the same thing yesterday. Nvidia warned about like future gains and all that shit. And that's the thing, is I think a lot of these reports, and I don't even think I know. Well, not that somebody's playing you, but just that they're put out on purpose for that exact reason. Like they're put out to get
elicit a response.
They're put out like Nvidia's putting out that report, right? Bigger players at Nvidia are putting that report out. They're paying the media, right? We know the media is in the pocket of, the people that have money, and so that's they send this letter to the Washington Post or fucking CNN. They're like, hey, I need you guys to broadcast this. They send it to fucking Jim Cramer, right? There's literally like an inverse trade of Jim Cramer. People like, you know, anytime Jim Cramer says he's doing something, they're like, oh yeah, do the opposite. It'd be like Jared if Jared had his own TV show.
Talk about a little bitch. Jim Cramer's kind of that guy. He's whiny all the freaking time. But I guess that's his shtick.
Yeah, it's a personality for sure. And he probably doesn't even trade anymore. You know, he probably has a long-term account, but he probably makes, I mean, that Mad Money show makes so much money for the financial network, CNBC, whatever it is. Because nobody watches that fucking channel. Not all day, at least, unless they're crazy. And they just want to hear rich people get on there and talk about why they're doing what they're doing. A little bit of short covering here on this 2404
AMD just
guide, yeah.
just jumped about 50 cents.
If Nvidia gets up above this 0 gamma level, which is that 180, you could really see market makers start to pile in and start to get long. Yeah, I re-entered, Tommy. Yeah, I had to. But I'm being super tight with it though.
That person with a gun holding it to your head. Damn, Brad, what are you doing? Getting out. Get back in.
Yeah, I was looking in the mirror. It's like, don't you dare be a little bitch.
There you go.
Turn my camera on backwards so it just faces me. Yeah, looks like shorts covered right there on that 4/4 here. So let's see if we get a little pop. Weak spot on the profile, 475. See if we can hold that 475. Come on. Nope.
Yeah, I was just looking through the data. It was just a weak upside. So it just didn't have enough push. And so the bot said, nope, I'm done. And it dropped.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing saying that we're just going to keep going up yet either. So it's not.
Well, it wouldn't shock me though, just based on, because now the numbers are actually turning around, but I just have it look for a specific trend. And if it sees that trend, it says that's it, bows out. But yeah, it's definitely gotten more strong. Oh, it's kind of flipping back and forth now. Yeah, I'm glad it got out. I'll take my $170 and go home. That I did absolutely nothing to make. But it made 1100 yesterday, so I guess
yeah, that was a big one yesterday. That was nice.
Yesterday was a huge move. And then the 950 from last week. Well, it would have if I had freaking not been. Maybe I need the mirror, not be a little bitch and got out. Damn. I sold it at it was like 268, and I was just like, I don't want to mess with it. I have too many things going. I don't have time to freaking focus on it. And I'm like, I just don't trust that bot. And I freaking 268, I got out. And then I watched the whole thing freaking play out, and it would have gotten up to $950. And I wouldn't have had to do a damn thing.
Yeah, he made the bot. Yeah, so I mean, it's not like he didn't do any work to get it to work.
I made the bot. Yes, that is true. And I coded it, and I created the algorithm for the bot. Yeah, there was a whole. I mean, I'll just say there was a shit ton of work to get to where the bot is right now. But that being said, now that the bot is written, as long as I let it play, it just makes me money. So far. And based on historical, it does very well for itself.
Dollar bounced off the daily there. Yeah, we'll see if that dollar comes back down to that trend. I'm still watching the NASDAQ here big time. It's still, still holding up. And I think is the leader. And really, I mean, information technology flipped to green. Healthcare is still struggling. Consumer discretionary is still struggling a bit. But we're starting to see a lot more green here for the most part. Even consumer staples, which struggled early on, is turning around. And we are seeing utilities go red, which is technically good, honestly, for the market. They don't want to see utilities go up, want to see utilities go down for a strong market. So That's, technically a good sign. And we're starting to see XLK find support on its high. Not financial, excuse me, healthcare is still, still being a little baby back, but financials is still strong. So it's still looking better for the upside than the downside so far. A lot of volume coming in up here too. Tyler Simpson, you run a live model with a few accounts, 15 to 20 assets per account on a maximum leverage using historical candlestick data from 1 day. I optimize using 10K iterations 24/7 on 104 380 gig server. I bulk optimize 24/7 in batches and auto backtest as well as exported. Shit, man. I wish I could understand all that nerd talk that you just did, but I'm sure my uncle understands that. But that's dope. I don't know
What
if
was it? Wait,
his bot
read it to
written
me
in
again.
Python. It's he said he asked if your bot was in Python, and then he said he runs a live model with a few accounts, 15 to 20 assets per account, maximum leverage using historic candlestick data from 1 day. He says he optimizes using a 10K iterations 24/7 on 104 core 380 gigs server, and then he bulk optimizes 24/7 in batches and auto backtests as well as exported.
Nice. So I am not quite to that level, only because, so I can tell you that my model originally started out. So to answer your question, number one, it's the bot that connects to TD Ameritrade to download the quotes is in Python. But that is only the back end piece of it, and the front end piece of it that I do is PHP, just because that's the code I know. I could probably do it in Python, but I just don't feel like learning that level of detail in Python. Secondly, I run all my stuff in Amazon, so I actually have 2 servers at my house, 40 core. No, sorry, 20 core, 40 thread, 64 gig Dell. I think they're 3.2s or 3.0s, Xeons. Anyway, because I had them lying around and that was what I used. But when we moved to Texas, I had to shut everything down and freaking put everything in Amazon. So I had to actually switch everything over. It was a pain in the ass, but at the very least, what I love about it is I don't run anything at the house anymore. So all of this stuff happens in a freaking AWS server. I never have to touch it. I don't have to look at it. I mean, if I'm not at the house one day, it still runs. If the freaking power goes out, it still runs.
Yeah,
So
that's nice.
so that's the benefit. And then there was one other question that you had. I don't remember what the other question was.
He said, "Oh, nice. So it's front end. I had a dashboard that uses Metabase, and it is linked to my Slack server."
The automated back testing. Okay, so yeah, so what I did, okay, so I've iterated this thing so many effing times, because I started at the end of 2020. I originally started and I just made it so it was a front end only. So it would download all this data and it would only feed the front end. Ultimately, what happened is that I I did paper trade for that model for a while, and it did relatively well. But then when I started working with Brad and I started using TPO, I started playing it in my own paper trade for me, and it was doing really, really well. And that was when I realized that I found a model. It's a long story, but I created some trend indicators just based on the data. And those trend indicators started actually showing me information about how it was playing. And that was where I started getting into doing the bot. And then once I created the bot, then it's just been a matter of me refining that model and making it so that my back testing does better and better and better every time. So like originally when I was back testing, I was getting like, I don't know, let's say I was getting 50% of the model. So whatever you put in, you were getting a 50% return over a period of time. As I've refined it, and mind you, these numbers are not completely accurate because of course there's no guarantee that the numbers that are historical versus the numbers that are real time are always going to match. So there's going to be a discrepancy between the two. But long term, what ended up happening is that I would go back and refine the model, do the back testing again, and then I turn that 50%, let's say, into 100% return, and then I'll just say it's gone beyond that. But the point I'm trying to make is that it doesn't do the automated back testing, which it should do eventually. I just haven't had time. And right now, I mean, to be honest, if the numbers are showing me what it should be, what it's doing at this point, I mean, honestly, it's moving so quickly and I'm having to adapt so quickly to what is actually coming at me. I don't have a huge amount of time to go back and fix all the little shit because it's just not enough money for me to focus on. And the forward part is where it's like, that's where it really, that's the money. That's the freaking money train. And that's where I'm spending my time. I hope that answers your questions.
So back to the 4 here. Big volume comes in. Market traded back up to the around the 7, or I mean the E period went all the way up to 8, but around that 7, 6 area, seen a little bit of selling come in. Yeah, Tyler, if my Uncle Stacy's in the Discord, so if you guys ever wanna chat or cross ideas or, you know, speak to each other in ones and zeros, just jump in there. I'm just jealous that I can't understand all that shit. That's all it is.
You have your mind focused in other areas. Yeah, ping me. Shaven 12, S Haven 12, but Shaven 12. Just ping me. Oh, I guess one thing I did want to mention, the one thing I love about the bot is that because it's dealing in contracts, all I have to do is up the number of contracts it's buying in order. Right now, I'm still verifying. Right now, it's still doing validation testing. But as it gets better, all I'm going to do is just increase the number of contracts that it does per buy. And then that will be when it would really. So this $132 that it made today would turn into 260 if I doubled the contracts, or 1,000 if I quadrupled them. So that's the part that makes it so much fun for me. And I love coding, so it all works out.
We can just get Tyler in there and get Uncle Lauren in there, and then you guys can, solve world hunger.
Possibly. I think first I need to make $1 million and then I'll worry about world hunger.
The Nasdaq's looking to break out above its high here, guys. Nelson, you're having a long bias on BTC now, smarter than looking for a short into single prints. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, and if I pull up the BTC chart, it does look well, here I'll pull it up on trading. But it does, it does kind of look like that's where it wants to go. Nasdaq is looking to trade above these highs here too. So I have my profit target on this trade at 975, and then my runner still just way up above, but I'm, cautiously optimistic about this 10 level because that's where we saw that bigger trader just kind of give up earlier. The links were blocked all the time by the bot. I was wondering what those messages were, so I unblocked one of the messages, and hey presto, I found the Zoom. Nice, Dr. VJ. Glad to have you in. Where'd it go? Where's trading view at? Yeah, so I mean, it's balancing higher, basically right where it was at the other day, right? We were up in this balance zone, didn't hold, looked back below, didn't get, really any steam once it traded the low side of balance, and it's back up here. I mean, I don't know. I just have a feeling that it's going to 27,000, but the market never goes anywhere in a straight line, but more of like a cautiously optimistic look for Bitcoin to go back up to 27K here. If we don't see a strong response of that 25,000, right? 25,000 is going to be a big psychological level for obviously just because it's 25,000. Bigger seller on the 875 here, 394 lots. A bit of struggle fest right here. Four minutes until the next period opens up. Let's go ahead and run these stops before F period opens up, if you will. You'd get into BTC at 12,000. Yeah, if it dropped down there, be a good entry. I still think there's opportunity for it to go down to, yeah, to like what's that level at? I think it was like, I think we were talking about 9,000 or something, 9,500. NASDAQ trying to break out here. The breath is picking up. Weighted sector starting to pick up. Information technology gaining some steam here. Bring over this. You can see XLK starting to get some gas here. Healthcare still struggling, but financials going up. XLC still popping. Staples pulling back, but energy's also pulling up. XLU pulling down is good. So, market still looks strong.
Or how do you sit through all these slow rotations in a trade, man?
I'm patient. Just patient. I mean, I have my defined risk like early on, and I'm willing to accept the loss if the trade doesn't play out. You know what I mean? So like I have like defined risk early on, and if if the trade doesn't work out right away, I entered this trade twice, right? The first time I entered it, moved my stop quick in a profit. It took me out, but it didn't go anywhere after it took me out. So I was like, well, fuck it, let me just try it again. Tried it again, same defined risk, and then just sitting here waiting. I have my first take profit 975, and then my second take profit's up, well, sitting up at like 17.5, but I'll just keep trying to move it up and trail from there.
What's your thoughts on if E and F can't take this D high right here?
Yeah, then I'd probably flatten the trade. Even getting close to this, the end of E period really makes me want to flatten here and see if F period auctions down a bit to just get back into the trade, because I almost hate holding through the close of a period, because
Yeah,
it's like a new time. People are like, oh, it didn't take the D high, fucking, and then they just start hammering these shorts and bigger
exactly what
traders,
happens.
yeah, and bigger traders are just like, oh yeah, here, I'll scoop up all these weak sellers. Let me just keep moving the
It's
bid
like they
down.
wait for the new letter to pop up and then just shoots in one direction, like a few points.
Right. Had a good day trading, made some profit, gonna head out on the bike and make sure some sunny weather. We've been blessed. All right, bro, have a good day. So here comes F period. Let's see if we can take the E high right away. That's what I'd like to see. Continue this one time framing to the upside here. There we go. Oh my god, one fucking tick. You better don't even mess around with me. Oh my god. Nothing like when it's just right at your take profit and just doesn't give any opportunity to fill, It's just so fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's so hard for me to resist bumping it down a tick or two when that happens. I normally end up just bumping it down and give in.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad idea, honestly. I just moved it to 4207 for the one. I'll just let it hold for here, but I'm giving up like 2.5
Actually
points.
I actually found a button on Sierra charts that you can put on your menu at the top. And when you click it, it automatically moves your take profit down 1 tick. So like if it's getting close but not hitting it, you can like a click of a button, just it goes down exactly 1 tick how many every time you click it. Cool.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I have a hotkey that moves it to break even, and then I can just grab it from there and put it wherever. I need that break even one just because like a lot of times I do like break even on a lot of trades. What's this weak sauce right here going on with F period? NASDAQ's pulling back down a little bit. The weighted sectors are cooling here. Need the SFP 4233 and then dump. Short covering here on the 7. So look at all the volume that pops in on that 7 and then the market just ticks right back up. That's just letting you know that those shorts are getting out. And so if it doesn't entice new buyers to pop in, right? So if we have short covering right there, it doesn't entice new buyers to get in, then we know that, okay, this trade might be getting a little bit stale and we want to get out as well. Because short covering, excuse me, short covering should bring in new money buying. It's because it's showing weakness from sellers. And the same thing, if liquidation comes in and we don't see more sellers come in, then it's just showing that the selling is weak selling. So right here again, more short covering. We want to see a buyer step up. I really don't want to see this thing test back below 7 at all. Curtis. 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 What do you want to get for lunch? What do you want to get for lunch? No, I said, what do you want to get for lunch? What do you feel like? Peanut butter and jelly? All right. Give me like 15 minutes. So we trade back below the 7 here. A little bit of volume coming down on here. Weak ass buyers up here. Not willing to do what they need to do to take us up above the high. Little battle still here at the 7 though. Let's take a peek at the volume real quick. 13%. So there was an increase in volume in E period as well compared to D. So there's more volume coming in during that E period. Probably a bit more of a two-way auction. And you can see that, value is moving higher. If we get a volume move up, that would really shift that point of control back to the upside as well here. We've got 3 TPOs here. We've got 3 TPOs down here. Volume still down here. But if we get a volume shift to the upside, that's going to make me lean the upside even more. XLK is cooling off here a little bit. Technology, you could see the NASDAQ really kind of dropping down back again. Fuck, I was about to look something up. Now I forget. Yeah, Mark, I think that I think Bitcoin doesn't it I think, oftentimes they say something needs to um like break before it can rally, or rally before it can break, and that's kind of what I was talking about yesterday. I think the market does need to rally before it gets another leg down. I do think there is another leg down in the market. I don't think that we're just going to go to the all-time high from here. I mean, there's decent odds that we do rally up to 4303, 4330 area. So the market could keep going, especially if retail just keeps, giving the longer money the gas they need to keep short covering the market higher. But um, it typically that's how it works. Things need to go up before they can go down, or down before they can go up. And we're still holding that one single print down there. There's one single print down here at that low. History says 10,300 BTC should happen. We haven't got invaded by bots today, so we must be just doing something okay. We're not pushing the what's it called limits, the truth limits. 85% drop from the all-time high. Market's just getting slow. Gonna be to sleep here. There's a point of control shift up. VPOC has shifted up to the 4205 here. So if they still fail to fill this single print, that is going to make me want to lean above and look for those highs. Remember that target above is 4252, I think, is the next level where we might see some responsive selling. And I guess we could see at the VPOC of the do this real quick. Here in key bars. Oh, hang on a second. I'm getting a call. Hello? Okay. I mean, if you guys are gonna get something, I'll take something. I don't know. What are you guys gonna? Oh yeah, I'll take that. That sounds good. Yeah, some Jesus chicken. I'll just take like whatever they have, like a chicken sandwich and some waffle fries. Yeah, I'll get a drink too. Curtis, you want some Chick-fil-A? Yeah. Sure. Yeah, he said sure. What do you want from there? Chicken nuggets? Yeah, he said sure. That's fine. You can have that. Oh, you got him one?
What?
Probably.
Okay, come on, my skin here.
He goes.
Hi, Mom. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Did you go to your nail salon?
All right.
Did you go to your nail salon? Oh. Okay. Bye.
Love you too. Bye.
Trade.
All right, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I'm still in the trade. What was I looking for? That's 42.77. What? Yeah. Here's this right here that we were looking for. 42.16 is that next level to the upside where we might see a little bit of selling. That'd be breaking of that value. And then above that, that 42.50 level that we have marked. So, what's Jesus chicken? That's Chick-fil-A. He's already gone. I'll let him know when I see him. And oops. Chick-fil-A is fire. Ever since you moved to PA, you're hooked. But still bunch on chicken over everything. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever had that bunch on chicken. Chick-fil-A is pretty good. I've only had it like a couple of times. They didn't have one like they had one in Washington when I lived up in Washington, but it was like, you know, if you go there, it's gonna be like an hour of a drive through, or if you go inside, it's still gonna take a minute. And I mean, for me, I don't have like the best palate, I don't think, you know what I mean? Like to me, steak tastes like steak. Uh, I'm not really picky, you know, so it's just like I'm not trying to wait an hour. I'm just hungry, you know. Burger King chicken is good. Whoppers are good, you know. Like I'm not trying to fucking sit here all day and wait for Chick-fil-A. But if I don't have to go, then you know, it's a different story. I'll take some. So nothing really significant yet. Just kind of chilling. My kids are already ready. They're like, when's Grandpa Haven gonna come over to our new house? Let's see if we're gonna close these single prints here. There they go, they close. To see if there's any continuation. We're seeing some pulling back from some of these sectors. See, the weighted sectors are starting to pull down here a little bit. Even the NASDAQ broke that previous low there. And the tick getting, you know, pretty negative here. Let's see, it's kind of a double distribution type of look, but we're seeing, you know, really this could just be backing and filling, which is why I said I don't think the break of the one time framing to the upside is really as important today, unless we start to see some tempo and momentum start to build to the downside. This could just be an opportunity for buyers really to come back to the open. F flow is mechanical on the open, but it'd be an opportunity for these buyers really to just fill in this spot and get an opportunity to take it back to the upside with our point of control just moving up here in value, moving up, right? We had 3 TPOs here, 3 TPOs here. The VPOC moved up, and now the TPOC has moved right to the center of the profile. So overall, when we look at this, you know, fairly balanced profile for the most part, right? XSD, XSB, pretty decent balance for the most part.
The shape with it open is like super weird. It's like
Yeah.
that big seller with everything under it, and then once it broke, all the shorts were keeping it above it.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. It's weird. There's a little bit of tempo picking up here to the downside. You can see the breath cooling off, and look how fast you're starting to see some of these things roll over. Information technologies flip back to red. Consumer discretionary is picking up some steam on the downside.
And should have had that short from 4208.
Oh, you shorted from up there?
Yeah, I only took it 3 points though.
Yeah, 3 points is 3 points. Still good. Just stopping to pay order and pick up. That'd be nice. I've only been to Chick-fil-A like a couple times. When I was recruiting, we'd go to this station up in Roseville, California, and they had a Chick-fil-A there. VWAP right here at this 41.96 half. So the market just came right down to the VWAP. Weak spot above is at.
Curbside,
Oh, what's that?
okay. I was gonna say curbside pickups the way to go for Chick-fil-A. Just do it on your phone and then they bring it right out, like a minute or two.
Oh, nice. I was gonna say weak spot is at 42.01 half. It looks like, and then another weak spot right here, 42 or 41.98 half. Patterman, you live in Roseville? Oh shit. Yeah, I was living in Yuba City for like 5 years until I moved out here to Pennsylvania. You eat there all the time. Yeah, it's like right there down the street from the recruiting station in Roseville. Roseville's nice. I like Roseville a lot. It's expensive, like, but it's nice. The mall's really nice. That's where we had to drive all the time because Yuba City didn't have shit. I wanted to open up a Victoria's Secrets in Yuba City, right? Because everyone from Yuba City, Marysville area had to drive up to Roseville to go to Victoria's Secrets. If you'd opened up a Victoria's Secrets there, guaranteed you would have been set for business. I haven't seen any of those stores ever go out of business, so. Yeah, Yuba City has tons of Indian food. Yeah, there's a lot of Indians there because that's where the Indian festival is. It's like the biggest Indian festival in the United States is in Yuba City. The Sikh festival. It's pretty dope too, and the food is bomb. A little bit of short covering down there, or maybe some absorption below that 95 quarter, the half back there. So F pulls right back to that half back. Senior UN official says he expects significant increase in applications from ships to export grain from Ukraine. An informer told the FBI what documents Trump was hiding and where. That's why they raided his shit. U.S. Commerce Secretary Raimondo, CHIPS Act will have an immediate impact on investment. Biden still debating Chinese tariffs. Biden administration does not want China tariffs to harm American workers. The Bank of England's pill says the wage increase is currently too rapid. U.S. Commerce Secretary Raimondo says the U.S. harmed Huawei's capacity to compete in advance. So the market's just chilling right here at the VWAP, that 96.5. When you say shorts or longs are covering, where do you see that? Chart time and sales. I'm looking at the time and sales basically to see how it acts at a certain level, and then basically how it reacts, right? So like typically if you get where's my pen? Typically, like if we get a buyer here, like a real buyer, we'll see the market tick up to a reference point before it comes back down, right? So like it'll come up to the open, and then sellers will come in and push it back down if it is buyers. But if it's short covering, we see it just pop up and then it comes right back down, right? And so that's how it kind of, be like, oh, okay, this is short covering right here, because we're not moving up to a spot where sellers would re-enter. We're just seeing these sellers take profit. And I use the DOM as well, but mostly just to place my orders, but I do use the DOM just to look to try to get a little bit more nitpicky information. Most of that volume was at 93. We saw that level earlier. I remember Roach was talking about that. That 93 level is where that big order was flashing earlier.
Another example of like what short covering looks like, if you're used to looking at candles, like you hear people talk about like a shooting star or something like that. That's created from all the short covering or longs covering or whatever. You got that big wick up and then price comes right back down because there's so much covering that happened.
Right, lack of follow through too, like, because if it was buying, that causes, like, if you get a candle like TJ's talking about, so if we get a candlestick that looks like this, has a real thin body and has this long wick, and then the next one trades back down, well, we can kind of assume that most of this was probably short covering. Because if not, we should have just got an open and then a continuation up. If buyers were down here just scooping up these prices, there should be continuation following that. Remember that weak spot still 42. Oh, was it 42.75? Yeah, 42.75 and then 42 or 42.01.50. 2 weak spots above right here. You can kind of see, like, I mean, the volume's just really light in this area. You traded BTC using TPO, would you trade the market session, London CME? I think, I mean, it really just depends on how long you're willing to stay in a trade and how much leverage you're using, Tyler. I think the full session TPO offers the most information. It's really just kind of tough. Um, I like the full session TPO. Besides breaking it down, I do like to see, like, what each session is doing, because crypto's traded 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? Never gets any closing. So I do like to see the session, right? So if a lot of times in the Asian session, they come in and they try to hammer the price down. And so if we know that they're really short and coming into the cash session, Asian session's getting ready to call it a day, then we might want to just jump on the long train or be a little bit more long bias, because we know that they're extra short. And if they do start to cover, you can really catch that move. So I guess maybe a combination of both.
Man, that 4,200 is just a line in the sand, ain't it?
Yeah, for real. What would be good indication for upside is if they do backfill this and volume comes in right here above this 4,200, and they push back up above. But if they can't, if they can't even get in here to trade some of these orders above 4,200, we're probably seeing a longer term seller try to hold. Yeah, crypto definitely is very important to know when each session is going to open up. Kind of like, the ES futures, or you want to know when the open is going to happen if you're looking at a 24-hour profile, because there is some people that trade the 24-hour profile. So, like if we were to combine with this one here, right, we would see a little bit more information, I guess. Like you could see kind of value really sitting here on this 96. So if you're trading a 24-hour profile, but if you're trading a 24-hour profile and you don't know when the cash open is going to be, it could really put you in a bad spot. Offer looks like it's trying to move down here. There's a lot of absorption on that 4,200 again. Our weak spot right here, 42.75, and then 42.01 half.
Yeah, if you split the G out by itself, you can see there's like 5,000 lots that have been traded like right there.
Yeah, right on that
On like
4,200.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like buyers are trying to get something going here. $500 contracts almost trade on this top tick on G. Yeah, for sure, Tyler. Yeah, check them out. Yeah, and if you have questions, just let me know, right? Just shoot me a message or something like that. You hate it when you can't sleep? Yeah. Yeah. Sleep is such an important thing to help you maintain clarity and just control your emotions throughout the day and understand your emotions. Like, if you've had a bad sleep or couldn't sleep, you start to get that groggy feeling, and it's like a mirage sometimes. You start to see things that aren't really there. That's why it's always important to, like right after you get out of a trade, unless you're taking the exact same trade again, but after you take a trade, let's say it goes up a little bit and, maybe you got back ticked or something, you're like looking to get back in. Sometimes it's better just to, take a 5-minute break or something, let the market work itself out for a second before you decide just to force your way back in. Israel, thank you for the sub. No, don't worry about it, Pop. You're good. Take a peek at the volume real quick. %, higher in that F period. So we did have some increasing volume in each period, gaining about 1% more volume than the previous period, excluding a period so far. All right, guys, I think I'm just going to call it here. Starting to get very, very slow. We are seeing the weighted sectors pick back up. The breadth is even picking back up. We did climb below 8 and then below 4, but now it's 4.5 and 8 here. You're seeing the NASDAQ start to try to tick back up. The tick really, I mean, it's closed below the 0 line one time. It's peaked below it a couple times, but really just got scooped up every time it looked below. We talked about how I didn't think F period getting a cessation of one-time framing was as important as it would be on a different day, but the profile itself today really just looks pretty balanced, right? We've got D excess, B excess, so not really anything anything telling. Still opportunity to break out for a trend day if we do break out to the downside. Remember, there is a huge gap to the downside still, so it could still trend either way, honestly. Let me pull up gosh, I'm broken. Here we go. Economic calendar real quick. We can see there's not really much. There's a 10-year auction note coming up here in about 21 minutes, and then the federal budget balance at 2 o'clock towards the end of the market may have a little bit of movement tomorrow. Not really much. There's PPI numbers, initial jobless claims, and PPI month over month before the market opens, and then going into Friday, we just have, not really much. A little consumer sentiment from Michigan, but other than that, not really any big news. So today's news was pretty much the big driver of the day. But yeah, other than that, make sure that you guys are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. And you guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you guys all tomorrow. I don't think I really have anything going on today. Maybe go swimming, but I'll probably have my phone. So if you guys need anything, just ping me in the Discord, and I'll get back to you. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys later. Oh, hang on, one more thing, actually. Just go over this real quick. You can see technology is trying to ping back up. Healthcare slipped a bit, which makes me kind of lean off the upside a little bit. Healthcare is our second biggest sector in the market, and not really doing that well. But consumer discretionary is doing okay. Financials, communication services, and industrials all kind of doing well. Staples is lagging. Energy still picking up. Utilities, like I said, is good that it's going down. So, and then the NASDAQ is holding above this long-term trend line, which still makes me kind of lean more towards the upside still as well. See the breath pulled off back here a little bit in the NASDAQ or in the NYSE. So yeah, other than that, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you all later. See you then.